You can live pretty well by yourself.
Oh yeah, we back.
I tell you.
Cause we black.
It's better to have real solitude.
Let me just make sure everything is sounding lovely. Everything is sounding so beautiful. So beautiful. So beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the First Heartbeat with CJ Kyles. My name is the CJ Kyles, and I am the host of the First Heartbeat with CJ Kyles. And we are live on a Friday evening. Should be a good show. Should be a good show. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can't see the title, Simp Culture is Dying Part 2. But yes, I do have a special guest coming through at 8:30. I have Mr. Anton Daniels, host of the Anton Daniels website. Also, one part of the Lapeef Let's Talk show. Businessman, entrepreneur, all the great things that you could be. So it should be a very, very good show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm chilling this evening. It's been a crazy day. Not really a crazy day, but the rain has been doing a number on a player in Detroit right now. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but nonetheless, I am happy to be here. So for those of you who are not familiar, I did a show a couple days ago. I think it was actually yesterday. Hold up, y'all. Wait a minute. Now we're good. I did a show actually yesterday about Simp Culture and how it's dying, part 1. And again, I was addressing Mr. Boyce Watkins, and I wasn't taking any shots at Boyce because I do have respect for Boyce, especially as another black man. I will stay on code, but I do not feel anyone is above being called out respectfully. Now, again, I don't know Boyce Watkins. I don't know him. I can only judge Boyce Watkins, and we all judge. I can only judge Boyce Watkins from the content that he has put out over the years. And I will say that Boyce Watkins, in my opinion, has done some good things. But the issue that I have with Boyce, is when he goes around telling young black successful men that if they choose not to wife up baby mothers, black baby mothers in particular, that they are doing a disservice to the black community. They are harmful to the black community. They are predators to the black community. They are taking advantage of the black community. No, I have a problem with that. So hopefully when my guest comes on, it's going to be like a 1-to-1 interview. One-to-one interview, because I want to talk. I want to do a really good deep dive into this. I thought about doing a panel conversation, but I said, no, let me chill on that because I really want to take a deep dive into this. And I really want to hear what my guest has to say on this particular subject. Now, I'm sure that there will be some ism dropped. I'm sure it's going to be some ism drop. Hey, Rochelle, it is nice to have you here, darling. I appreciate you being here. Najir, what's good, my boy? Congratulations, you're doing your thing. So tonight, I also want to talk about how do you know if your mate, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend may be for the streets. And I did get some people involved in the conversation. I asked the question, how do you know if a woman is for the streets, and how do you know if a man is for the streets? And Some of the answers were interesting, if I do say so myself. If I do say so myself. Now, later on, we will be taking people who want to chime in and call in and everything like that. The link is in the description. Najir said his first check is coming up Thursday. Shout out to Najir getting his paper. Shout out to Nurse Rochelle. She's in the building. All these modern women are for the streets, in my opinion, says Najir. I don't want to say that, bro. I can't say that, man. Not all of them. I don't think you can't say all. That's too broad. Because I know some dope women doing some dope things. You dig? You know, my girl is one of them. So I don't think they're all for the streets, but I definitely think you have some that are for the streets. But that's a whole nother situation. But I definitely want to tackle this topic of Boyce Watkins and the simp culture um and how simp culture is dying. Oh yeah, that day is coming to an end. It's coming to an end, boys and girls. Listen, I don't know. I don't know if Boyce Watkins has some sort of issue, because if you don't know, Boyce Watkins married Alicia Watkins, and he's told the story. He said this himself, so it's not an issue with me repeating this. She didn't want him initially when she, and let's be real, when she was in her prime. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. He pretty much said that before the 3 kids, and then later on in life, after the 3 kids, after she's hit her prime, she decided to come back to Boyce. She decided to come back to Boyce Watkins, right? And now Boyce Watkins is on this whole simping crusade, saying that if you don't do this, if you don't wife up single moms, and don't get me wrong, I don't want the single mothers thinking that I believe is something wrong with them. But let's not make no bones about it. No one, especially the single, childless men, have no obligations to date anybody if they don't want to. And that's just real. You know, I try to align myself around a group of individuals. I like to call them the 60-hour gang. And the gentleman that I am aligning myself around, we have a certain beliefs, we have certain systems, and we have certain goals that we want to achieve in life. Now, most of us don't have children. We don't. Some of us don't want any children. Some of us do. And I can guarantee you, those men who are headed for success, they don't want already made families. And we understand that not all situations are the stereotypical baby mama situations, are the stereotypical irresponsible situations. You do have women that were with a man for years and something happened to where the husband, boyfriend, whatever the case may have died. And that is an unfortunate situation. Because I do know women personally who have had their husbands, had their man die. And, you know, they became, unfortunately, a single mother. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me go ahead and turn my music down. He just popped up in the building, y'all. So I'm going to just get right to it, get straight to the business. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Anton Daniels. Anton, what's going on, sir?
What's going on, family? How you feel?
I feel wonderful, man. How about you? I know you on the move right now.
Yeah, it's always business for me, but life is good, man. I can't complain. It's absolutely phenomenal. Let me salute you first and foremost for, continuing to do what you do, putting out great information. Yeah, we need to support people like CJ. And first of all, you're from the D. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
sir.
Detroit in the building. I gotta salute that. We got the number 1 pick. So
Yeah,
let's
man.
not let's not
I
slide past that really quickly. But I do know that you putting out a lot of great information. I rock with your videos. I rock with your content. I think that you dope, bro. So I just want to salute you first and foremost.
Hey, I appreciate that. Before we get into this conversation real quick, because I know you got a lot to do, are you going to keep your season tickets?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, I renewed. I renewed. So they sent me some really good gifts. So we rocking out. We gonna get it. We gonna get it.
Uh, all right, bet. Now, the first thing I thought about doing a panel discussion, but I said, you know what? I'd rather take this time to interview you and introduce my audience to you for those who may not know, because I really just wanted to have that in-depth conversation and just get some of your perspectives on the things that we are talking about this evening. So, one thing I wanted to ask you about, the first thing, obligation.
Mm-hmm.
Obligation. Are black men, because I started this off with Boyce Watkins, who felt like, and I'm paraphrasing, but he did state that, well, to the black men that feel like they go out of their way, or who want to go out of their way not to date single mothers and everything like that, they are obligated. They should date these single mothers, or they are predators. Something's wrong with them. Maybe they hate their own mothers. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think that Boyce specifically is pandering. Like he's one of those type of people that I call a panda bear. Cause number one, I know y'all not looking at Boyce as the voice of reason when it comes to relationships. Let me give Boyce a little bit of credit in saying that he has accomplished some things in his life as far as his ability to be able to get a PhD, and I guess he has some level of understanding when it comes to finances and things like that. So I want to make sure that I'm coming off objective. But I know y'all not looking to Boyce for advice when it comes to women and how they need to be operating within a community. Let's be clear. If anybody has watched, and the reason why I'm prefacing what I'm about to say is that I want you to basically study the vessel. If anybody has watched Boyce's proposal, it was one of the most cringy things that I've ever seen in my entire life. It almost was like she was really not checking for him. And even in that situation, he wind up finding himself in a situation where she had already did and lived her life. And so now he's coming in as a guy that needs to pick up the pieces and try to fix a situation from a woman that did not choose him in the first place. So let's be clear that the vessel was flawed. But to answer your question in particular, absolutely not obligated. They not. The only thing that we're obligated to do as men is be responsible and take accountability for the things that we do. We owe no accountability, or we have no responsibility to anything or anyone outside of our own, and let me repeat, our own situations or circumstances by which we find ourselves in. If I have a platform, right, and there's people listening to me, I have an obligation to do the right thing as far as projecting the right information to the people that I'm having a conversation with, because ultimately what they do is going to affect so many other people. But as far as me having an obligation to somebody that I've never met in my life, and then I gotta choose that just because they found themselves in a situation. When are we going to start saying, "Yo, why didn't she make the right decision when it came to the guy that she was rocking with in the first place?" At what point has Boyce, in any part of his conversation, chose to hold women accountable for the decisions and the actions that they made when it came to the person that they laid down with, opened their legs to, chose not to get married to, and had babies by? Nah, if you want to have a situation in which women have all of the freedom and the power that feminism has afforded them, they got the rights to say what they want to do, they can work where they want to work, they want all of this stuff. You get it on the other side too, because this is the things that men have been dealing with for a long time. We deal with the consequences that come along with our actions, because freedom ain't free. Just
Hmm.
because you can say and do what you want don't mean that you're free from the consequences that come along with it. So absolutely not. They do not owe, and they are not obligated to do anything outside of being responsible for their own backyard. Clean up your own backyard. That's the only thing that you're supposed to be doing.
That's yeah, I agree. And I wanted to ask you this. I was on the homie Clement's podcast the other day,
Shout out to
and shout
Clement.
out to Clement. Um And I was debating with an individual on his show, and he told me that women are not visual. He also said that women don't want men with nice bodies. And also one of the females
Did you
on
get
there,
the cap out? Did you get the
huh,
cap out when he said
man,
it?
I should have. And I said that he was like, yeah, women don't look for that. It was a study done. And I'm just like, why do you feel that so many men, and I'm glad it's like this, but why do you feel that so many men are against putting in the actual work to be the absolute best versions of themselves? Why are they so against it? Why is it such a pushback against people like you, Kevin Samuels, people that ultimately talking about putting in the work to be the absolute best version of yourself that can possibly be?
Well, the pushback A is because they lazy, right? And B is much easier to blame somebody else for the situation that you find yourself in versus actually owning it and putting in the work. So I'll use myself as an example, right? I've neglected largely for a little bit now. I would say a couple years now. I've neglected to spend as much time as I should have on my health and my body because I've been so busy chasing the bag. I mean, literally, I spend 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, like working, grinding. I am at the space now where I've won so much financially where it's just putting points on the board. So I've rededicated myself to the gym. I've rededicated myself to my eating. I've rededicated myself to putting in the work because there are no excuses.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, whoever this guy was that was having this conversation is lying to himself because these dudes that don't want to put in the work, and it's not just fitness, it's financial,
Yeah.
it's character, it's fitness, it's holding yourself responsible and accountable for having dick discipline. They don't want to do it because it requires a conscience. It requires you to look in the mirror and it requires you to do a self check on a regular basis because you're going to have to face yourself and say, I'm trash. You're going to have to admit to yourself that you trash. And we have this disillusion in our minds that we just awesome regardless of what the results are. Yo, women are supposed to rock with me just because I'm me. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And so the beautiful part about life is that it don't really matter about what you think and what you feel because the spoils go to the victor.
Yeah.
The spoils go to the person that actually get the results. So yeah, I'm cool with you feeling the way you feel because in order for me to be as rich as I am, it's probably going to be a lot of poor people along the way. So I need all of mine. And if you don't want it, I'm coming to get yours too. And so I'm not complaining about guys that choose not to do the work because that just means that it's more for me and
Mm-hmm.
all of my homies that's coming along with me, and we all gonna win exponentially.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get into a little bit of your background if you don't mind, man. Will you just let
Rich as
the people know?
ever, rich
Huh?
as ever, rich as ever.
Yeah. Let's so okay. So how did you begin your journey to your riches? You quote yourself as being the greatest C student of all time.
All
So if
time.
you can just do like a brief deep dive into how you started and where you came from for the people who just may be tuning into you for the first time.
Well, the biggest thing for me, I think, is a takeaway as far as my foundation and where I started from is that I've always had strong men in my life. So I've had an edge up on guys in that regard. I've had, a strong father, never got divorced, strong uncles, a strong foundation in spirituality, all of that. So that was my that was the thing that gave me a edge. The other thing that gave me an edge was that I always had a huge work ethic no matter what it is that I did. I never relied on talent in any way, shape, or form to be successful. So right out of high school, when I got my first job, and I got a job in a plant, in a steel plant, and I would work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, roughly 112 hours a week. So I wanted a lifestyle that I didn't have to pick up a basketball or run a 40-yard dash in order to do it. So I always had work ethic and I always had drive. The thing that I had to learn and go through, and I'm an advocate for men suffering, was that eventually, so I graduated in 2000 from high school. and I worked really hard, and my chick balled and all of that, and I got married early at 22 years old. I'm still married today, married for 17 years, and we lived the lifestyle, but we wasn't disciplined enough to take on the responsibility when it comes to being intentional, when it comes to building wealth. I thought that job, that 100,000 plus job at a very young age, was going to be there forever. I didn't really take as much consideration for my future as I should have. So I went broke in 2006, 7, 8, when the recession hit, lost my job, all of that, so on and so forth. But the one thing that stuck with me was an OG that was in a plant with me, and he sat me down back then and he said, "Yo, Ton, you getting all this money, man. What you doing? How much you got put up?" I'm like, "What you talking about?" Like, "I'm just getting money. I'm spending it. I'm flying everywhere. I'm doing what I want to do." He said, "Ton, put up 25% of everything you make, bro." I'm like, 25%? That's a lot of money. Like gross? You like, yeah, put up 20. Trust me, it's gonna go by fast. In a minute, you're gonna be 30, you're gonna be 40, you're gonna be 50. And you don't want to be the dude that's the greeter at the store. Not because it's something wrong with the greeter at the store, but because you have to, because you wasn't intentional when you was younger. You can still ball and do the things that you want to do, but be intentional when it comes to taking care of your business. So when I went broke, I still had that money put up. I never touched it. I never messed with it. But I then had the lessons that went along with the work ethic that allowed me to be able to propel and be more successful than everybody else. So making a long story shorter, once I got back on my grind, I went back to school. I got my software engineering degree. And in the midst of me going broke, I started a lot of different companies. I started a web development company, which I wind up selling a mixtape application to a larger site. That's when I got my first bag. And then I wound up working at the University of Michigan. I worked my way all the way up in the private sector. I left there and became vice president of user experience at a relatively large company. And
Let me just stop you right there. These are for those of y'all who say that he may not be doing what he's doing. He's literally listing off the things that he's done to get to where he is. Because you got a lot of
yeah,
critics that be like,
I mean,
"Oh,
I documented it the whole way too. Over
right,
the
right."
last 8 years, I've showcased my entire life online, and I leave every single video up. I've never removed a video, no matter how cringe it is, no matter how bad it is. I've showed you as I've grown and made money from a business perspective, and made money in real estate. I own a lot of real estate now, a lot of residential properties. I've made a lot of successful moves when it comes to corporate America, and then I leveraged that. I bought restaurants and built restaurants from scratch. I gave y'all the blueprint for that. But all of it came from the mud. Nobody gave me anything. I never took out a loan when I built my restaurant. I built it 1,000% with all of my own money, $114,000. I put up my own money for everything. So everything that I got along the way, how I got rich, was based off of my work ethic, being intentional, and making the right decisions. And that I didn't need to ball in order to showcase what my net worth was. I'm just now starting to really, really live as far as buying all of the things that I want and live and all of that. But the interesting thing about it is that the lessons still stick with me. I work like I ain't got nothing right now. And then also on top of that, because I have all of the business lessons, I know things from a business perspective they can't teach you in business school, because I built it, I live it, I run it, I talk about it. I talk about it in the mastermind sessions and all of that. So, anything that I can't write off, I don't really buy it. It all has to be tied to a business, because it's going to lower my tax. That's big boy talk. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna get into that.
yeah.
But again, I'm
Join the
intentional,
Patreon.
and I got it out the mud. Yep. And now my currency, because I've made so much money and I'm doing so well, and I don't have to work ever again if I don't want to. My currency is people. So I pour back into people. I give the game. I make sure I talk that money. I talk marriage. I talk about the business of marriage. I talk about how you can leverage a marriage to get even richer. All these things have benefited me across my life simply because I was intentional, and I chose to buck against whatever popular culture was saying that's awesome, and then truly live my life based off of what was conducive and best for my family and me. So yeah, I'm intentional in everything I do.
Okay, cool. And that's awesome, dope, man. And so my next question is, I want to talk about the issue of racism, because I see a lot of people tend to throw racism and the obligation to the black community your way? I've actually seen several people ask you this. So I wanted to just get your thoughts on
It's the
how do you
fun
feel
part.
about the people that say men like you or men like myself should go out of your way or out of their way to try to save the black community just because we're black and just to try to get them to come on the train. Now, me personally, I feel like I'm not a superhero. I cannot save an individual that does not want to be saved. The only thing I can do is be the living example of the type of individuals that I want to see. You dig what I'm
You're
saying?
a
Like
better
that's
man than me because I'm not even gonna explain it to you. I don't owe you nothing.
mm,
I don't owe nobody nothing. When
break
I
that
pour
down.
into people, it's because I choose to, or
Mm,
because I see value in them. I rock with people based off of the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And let's be clear, some of the most egregious things that's been done to me in my lifetime, and all of that's documented on my channel. I've been carjacked, I've been shot at, they tried to kill me, leave me for dead. Every last one of these people look like me.
mm,
Now, that does not mean that I'm bitter towards them. I forgave them. I even
mhm,
forgave them in a video, right? I'm
mhm,
not holding anything against them because, again, there's bad people across the spectrum.
mm,
There's bad people that's black, and there's phenomenal people that's black. There's bad people that's white, and there's phenomenal people that's white. One of the most um, progressive things that's ever happened in my life is one of the whitest of white people at the University of Michigan. She had cancer. She wound up dying on her deathbed. She knew she was dying, and her last thing that she made sure that she had done before she died was to ensure that I got hired in from a contractor to an employee, and then I got promoted and got the bag. That was her last wish before she died.
mm,
Again, content of your character. So although I have poured significant resources back into my community, I've spent over $1 million of my own money back into my community, right? I don't have or required from an obligation perspective to do anything. From if I wanted to walk away and never do nothing for nobody outside of giving the game to the people that actually want it and that I choose to pour into on an individual basis based off of their character, that's enough.
mhm,
Because my obligation, my foundation, my baseline is to clean up my own backyard. That's my requirement, to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in my own backyard. I'm doing my part way better than anybody else if I just do that. If I get the beam out of my own eye, clean up my own backyard, take care of my own family, ensure that my daughter is not for the streets. If I just take care of that at a very baseline level, I've done my part. I don't owe nobody nothing. I will never give anybody an explanation when it comes to somebody saying that you're obligated to the black. Because, I mean, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it, right?
let's do it.
At what point? At what point do you stop placing yourself out of a box, right? Because I can say, all right, I identify and group myself as a black person.
Mm-hmm,
Do I then separate myself as a black man? Is it okay if I only separate myself and I group myself based off of my height, my shoe size, how big my hands are,
mm-hmm,
the church that I go to? Do I then separate myself against somebody else that may be black, but they choose to be Muslim? At what point do you cut it off?
mm-hmm,
Who's to say that I'm obligated to do anything based off of how we choose to group ourselves? Do you group yourself based off of the fraternity or sorority that you pledge to? What about your sexual orientation? Do you treat people accordingly according to that?
mm-hmm,
Like, there's a baseline that we have to treat people as a human on a human level, because nobody is responsible for the sins that their fathers perpetuated against people. I know people in my own hood that people are loyal to. It ain't nothing for somebody to poison their community, put drugs in their community, kill little homie over there and shoot little Ray Ray over here, and then we'll turn around and say free such and such and got the t-shirt and everything, right?
mm-hmm.
But the dude that actually pours into their community and all of this other type of stuff, or is a good person just on a basic level, they get no love. So my point then becomes, at what point do we stop grouping ourselves and start focusing on the things that actually add value to our life? The content of your character is going to get you much further
Mm.
than the people that you align yourself off of based off of physical properties that they can't even control. It's the silliest thing ever, bro.
I'm a personal believer in being aware. Now, I do understand that there are situations where somebody may not like me based on the fact that I look the way that I do, but I don't
Hmm.
care. I don't
I don't
care.
either.
Kevin Samuel
It
said,
don't
"You,
stop you. It
yeah,
don't mean
you."
nothing.
Kevin Samuels, one of the dopest things to me he's ever said was, "You get yourself rich enough to it doesn't matter," and
It don't matter.
that is a fact. You know what I'm saying? You get yourself to the point because at the end of the day, money talks. In my opinion, racism is a distraction. Money talks. They respect greenbacks.
Nobody cares about race. Racism doesn't exist in my mind.
Mm,
Listen, I could the little homie right outside at a hotel could not like me because of the car, because of the F type, the R, the Jag that I pulled up in, the drop top. He
mhm.
could not like me just based off of that. I don't care why you don't like me,
Right.
right? My thing becomes nobody is going to stop me from working 60 to 100 hours every single week.
Mm,
You can't control my bag, bro, which means that ultimately I'm in the position of power. I determined and hired and fired people based off of what I decided whether or not you fit or met what I was building from a cultural perspective at the companies that I built and the companies that I was existing in from a corporate perspective. I was the gatekeeper. I'm the one to determine who came and who fell and who didn't. I'm the
mm,
one that has the information in the game. I determine whether or not you succeed or you fail. So how you feel, and we always get caught up in these feelings, how somebody look at you, how they feel. Don't nobody care about how you feel. The only thing we care about is the results. And I'm telling you that nobody can stop you, not one person outside of yourself, from doing, living, and being whatever it is that you want to be. You
mhm.
need to get out of these echo chambers of people that's giving you reasons and excuses to be a part of the victim Olympics. It's the dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life.
The Victim Olympics. I like that one. That was a good one. So can I ask you? Let's pull back for a minute. I want to talk to you about family because one of your videos that you put out
Mm.
about family will not always rock with you. That was something that I looked at that video and I took it as personal because I come from a space to where I'm not that close to my father's side of the family. And
Yep.
I'm not that close to my mother's side of the family either. So I've to build my own family as I've come up. So
Hmm.
I wanted you to know if you could give some game to the people that get upset or feel some type of way when they feel like their family members don't support them. Or recently I was dealing with a situation to where my baby brother, he's not headed well. From what I see, he's not going towards the right direction, and I'm trying to pull him in a certain way. But he's a grown
You got to
man.
suffer. You got
Yeah.
to suffer.
So how can one get over the whole family thing and being upset that the family may not rock with you?
Oh, I don't care nothing about family. Family to me don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean listen, you talking to a dude and my chick will tell you, she will tell you in 5 seconds. My chick cared more about my second oldest brother than I did. I did completely me and him, we have no talks, no association, no nothing, no nothing. And it ain't that he did anything to me, is that his character and the direction that he's going and he chooses to go in his life is completely different from mine. My
Mm,
family is the people that I align with that's going in a direction. You, my family.
mm,
My family are people that are going in the direction that I'm going in because your life is ultimately the culmination of the people that you surround yourself with the most. You don't even have to look in the mirror no more. If you want to know who you really are, all you got to do is look at the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most. And those are going to be the people that is an accurate reflection of who you are. My family means nothing, not the blood. Don't mean nothing. Now that doesn't mean that there aren't people that I'm blood related to that I do call family because they're going in the direction that I'm going in, because we align, because we're loyal to each other, or we have the same principles and values. And on the flip side of that, it doesn't mean that people are that are your blood aren't are bad people. They
hmm.
don't mean that they bad people, right?
Right.
They're not obligated to support you. They're not like, and that's the thing. I take my future into my own hands. It's nobody's responsibility to be. I don't need your support. All
Hmm.
I need is my 2 hands and my 2 feet, and then be in my right mind. I'm gonna go win in every single situation and level. So my point becomes it's the same thing as friends. Like you can't take everybody with you, and everybody not gonna be on your team, and they not required to. Nobody owes you anything. The thing that we need to get over is that we have to stop attaching ourselves based off of who we was raised with and start aligning ourselves with people that's actually conducive for our lives. So family, in my opinion, that don't mean nothing. Family for me is the people that I truly rock with on a regular basis. And when I see my family, when I see people that may not be aligned with, when I see my brother, it's gonna be dapping up. What up, fam? Because I don't hate him. We're just trees going in two different directions. We both growing, but I'm growing that way. You going that way. Man, we just not aligned. I don't care nothing about family. In the same way that I don't have any tie or obligation to somebody that's the same color as me is the same way I am across the board. I'm consistent. Family is a different different term that I would use, but I
Mhm.
wouldn't associate it with blood at all,
Okay.
not even a little bit.
Can you touch on? Okay, so I got a cousin right now. He's actually on backstage, and he's one of the most grinding dudes that I've seen. He's young, 24, 25 years old. And
Mhm.
I actually want to bring him in. He's hardworking, always starting a business. And I
Love
wanted to
that.
take the opportunity to get him associated with you. Can you give somebody in his situation that don't have no kids, that's young, that's grinding, some advice on how to be the most successful version of themselves, real quick?
All right, now I got to ask you a couple questions. What's your name, fam?
Oh, I'm Travis.
Travis. What's happening, Travis? How you feel, bro?
What's going on? You all right?
I'm richer than ever,
Hey,
living a
look.
life.
That sounds like
I'm
a good day to
I'm
be, man.
absolutely phenomenal, bro. So let me ask you a couple questions, bro.
Yeah.
So how many hours you work a week?
This week is a slow week, but typically
Mm-hmm.
it's usually 10 to 12. Like he said, I don't went back to school for a home inspection. I'm getting a
Mm-hmm.
double certification in that. I'll be finished with that in like 3 weeks or so. But after I finish that, I got three more certifications that I'm gonna keep going further into the industry on with. But usually, I was watching the podcast earlier, and I did hear how many hours that you said you worked, like 16 or 17 or something like that, something close to that.
16 a day at least.
Yeah, some crazy like that. Yeah, so
You think
um,
that's crazy?
well, for me personally, I had a janitorial company when I was like 20 or 21. So I worked there and I worked at Pepsi and I worked damn near
Mm-hmm.
20 hours a day for a
Mm-hmm.
month straight. So what ended up happening was, man, my immune system started breaking down so bad that I wasn't able to work for like a month and a half, and I ended up selling my business. I sold all my contracts and just worked full time at Pepsi because it just tore me up so bad, you know.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what adjustment did you make though? Did you just start staying at Pepsi and that was just the end of the conversation or what?
No, so what I started doing was I started getting into credit actually when I was like
No, no, no,
20.
no, no. Nope, nope, nope. What adjustment did you make physically?
Oh, I ain't had no choice but to I changed my diet.
Right.
I went back to work slowly. You know, I changed my diet. I ain't had no choice but to change my diet. I was off and on at the gym, and I was kind of watching what I ate, but not too much. You know. But the older I've gotten,
The
I known how much the stuff that we put in our body really affects us going throughout the day. Now, you know.
So the biggest thing that you're gonna have to focus on, bro, you personally, is you are going to have to put yourself in a position to be able to really grind and be intentional when it comes to the amount of money that you keep. I don't know what your debt situation is. I don't know what your whole because I'll say this. The biggest thing that men have a problem with is being disciplined when it comes to doing things consistently. So, okay, I'll give you a tip. One of the things that I abide by, I live and die by, is my Google Calendar. My Google Calendar is literally like my Bible. I mean, if it does not exist on my calendar, I have no purview to it, which it forces me to be accountable for my time,
Right.
right? So then I know, okay, this is how much I'm sleeping a day. This is how much I'm working per day. This is the amount of time or the slots that I have open for me to really refine and fine tune how it is that I'm moving on a regular basis. And then I can be accountable for my time because your time is your currency. If you're not accountable for your time, if I can't tap into you and say, all right, hey, what was you doing last month for the last 2 weeks of the month? And you can't give me a rundown of what your days is like, then that means that you're not utilizing your time effectively because it's not just working, but it's working smart, right? So
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. When I say I work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, I mean, I just came from the restaurant with my wife and I had my laptop with me making sure that these videos are being composed because I needed to get some content out. I took some business meetings or whatever, so on and so forth. But my point just becomes I'm accountable, incredibly accountable for my time. When I sleep 4, 5, 6 hours a day on the weekends or whatever like that, I'm not on my phone when I go to sleep. I don't check social media. I'm not checking emails. I'm not trying to find out what everybody else is doing. When I get into bed, I go to sleep. I'm accountable for my time. When I answer emails, I'm answering emails while I'm in the car, being driven here or there. When I'm on a flight, I'm making sure I'm utilizing every single second. I'm not on a flight just browsing, watching movies. I cut all of that crap out. I'm taking care of business. I'm writing proposals. I'm going over the numbers. I'm making sure that the accountant is correct. Soon as I land, I'm on the phone taking care of business. So my point just becomes the most effective thing for a person that's already on their grind like you is you have to start being accountable for your time so that you can figure out how you can move more effectively and utilize your time in the best way possible. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
see,
Now,
I
this
wanted to
don't have
say
nothing
real
to do with the character aspect of it either. So I do want to tell you that money don't make you a better person. It just makes you more of what you already are. So you have to also be prepared for the success that come along with it. I do want to give you that game.
mm.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say, y'all, this is what black success and black excellence and reaching out to the black community looks like. An OG talking to somebody that's younger, taking the time out of their day to talk to somebody that's younger, that's giving them the game. This is the whole racism thing and black men working together. You dig what I'm saying? I'm a relatively small channel. Anton got over 100,000 subscribers.
You breaking up, CJ, a little bit.
Oh, what
Are I can hear you now. You good?
bring his time. Okay, he didn't have to bring his time over here, and I respect that. This is how black men network and work together. You know what I'm saying? This is the example that I am trying to be. Now, get you coming through, Trav, and so I wanted to ask Anton. You know, I got a lot of nurses over here, so I could not
Mhm.
let you leave before I wanted to get some game in your perspective from a nurse perspective. And I know you're not a nurse, but I know your wife is going to school to be a nurse. Now,
Yep.
a lot of nurses they make a lot of paper, but a lot of nurses tend to go broke by living
Yeah, they
below
just they
by
just like
living
the
above their
basketball
means.
players. They
Right.
just like basketball players. Yeah.
So can you give some game because majority of my audience over here are nurses and they check me out for nurse content. Can you give some game to the nurses on how they can make the most out of their financial situations, especially the traveling nurses because they making a lot of paper right now, a lot of paper. So can you
You know
just give
the
them?
interesting thing about people is that most people fall victim to lifestyle creep. So what that means is you adjust your lifestyle according to how much money you make. Every person that's getting money, especially new money, they do it. If you're making this amount of money, then you can afford to do this. You can afford to go on vacation. You can afford to buy this car. You can afford to live this lifestyle, so on and so forth. I will tell you that, okay, let's just be clear because I've my whole life is online. Last year I made $1.2 million cleared. 1.2. I was living like I I would say my personal expenses probably didn't even exceed anywhere near $30,000. 30K max. Now I'm gonna give y'all some game. I'm about to really, really pour into y'all and give y'all some game a little bit, right? On one end of the spectrum. But in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to address some foundational issues again, because me giving you the financial game does not make you a better person, right? You still got to change this mindset before you can understand how to leverage things and be able to move forward more effectively financially. You have to get out of this poverty mindset, right?
Mhm.
You can't keep subjecting yourself to the idea that you're living based off of what you make. And ultimately, we buy things to impress people that don't even like us. Nobody
Facts.
cares about what you drive, fam. Nobody cares about the pictures that you taking. Nobody cares about where you traveling to. And nobody cares about what you're wearing and what kind of bag that you have. As a matter of fact, it probably breeds more hate than it does anything that it would benefit from somebody looking on the outside in. It's just the truth, right?
Mm.
So the thing that I'm going to tell you, because once you change that poverty mindset, once you evolve past being subjected to keeping up with the Joneses, doing things for people that don't even care nothing about you, projecting an image and spending the majority of your time doing things that is not conducive for your lifestyle. Once you get past that childish stage, then you can move over into how you can leverage your money and using your money more effectively in order to ensure that you never have to. That means that you're going into nursing and working because you truly love what you do, but you never have to be subjected to having to work if you don't want to. And that comes with starting a business. If any expense that you are taking, I mean, the cars that y'all drive, the places that you travel to, the computer equipment that you buy, if you are not writing it off legally, and I have to say that, right? If you are not writing it off as a business expense, and then ultimately lowering your tax burden because you're going to pay a lot of taxes as a result of leveling up and going into different tax brackets. If you are not lowering your tax burden for the things that every single person buy on a regular basis, because we all travel, right? I got multiple cars. I just bought my chick a Tesla, but mine's is a write off, which means that if I make $200,000 a year and you make $200,000 a year, you're going to pay taxes on $200,000. I'm really paying taxes on like 25
Mm.
because everything that I'm doing is justified as a business expense. I'm going to pay less taxes than a person that make $20,000 to $30,000 a year because I understand how money works. I also understand that if you have your money in a checking or a savings account, then you're losing the value of your money because you're not even beating the rate of inflation. What that means is inflation is similar to in the 70s and the 80s when you was able to go and buy a Cadillac for $3,000, $4,000. Now you can't get a Cadillac for anything less than 40, 50, $60,000 because the value of money has become lower over time because inflation is requiring us to print more money because it's not backed by anything. This is big boy talk, all right? So I'm gonna just go into it a little bit. I'm gonna give y'all the game. So my point is that if you saved the equivalent of $1,000, let's just say $70, $80 back in the 70s, the late 60s, the early 70s. Let's say that was the equivalent of $1,000. If it still sat there in that checking account today, it's still only worth the equivalent of what we would say $70 is. But if your money is working for you and you're paying less in taxes as a result of being intentional, then not only do your money multiply, because if you want to break the math down, let's say you put up $6,000 and you invested it, and you invested it in a 401k, a Roth IRA, Microsoft, right? Then that means that $6,000 on a 10 to 15% return on an annual basis, compounding meaning that you don't take the money out after it makes money. Let's say it makes 15%. That means it made $900 that year. So now you got $6,900 and you just let it keep rolling over. So now you got $6,900 working for you instead of $6,000. You let that compound over 30 to 35 years, you're looking at over $1,000,000 from an initial $6,000 investment. I just did a video where I showed that Peter Thiel, which was one of the co-founders of PayPal, took his Roth IRA money. Roth IRA is money that you invest after tax towards your retirement. up to $2,000 and he turned it into 5 billion because he never touched it and he just leveraged it to make more money. So my point then becomes stop being subjected to lifestyle creep. After you get rid of the lifestyle creep and you spending money towards things that actually add value to your life instead of taking away from it, then you can start to multiply your money because compound interest actually putting money up that makes money for you every day that you go to work. You're trading in your time for money. Your time is the real currency. You trading in your time for currency. And then once you get that currency back, you should not just throw it away and give it to somebody just because you can afford to. You need to utilize all of those little employees. Every dollar that you make as an employee, you traded in your time for that. You'll never get another minute back that you traded in for that money. So now every last one of those employees need to be going out and working and getting more employees for you. Instead of you working for the money needs to be working for you. So if y'all making all of this money, getting all of these bags, making everything and achieving all of your life's dreams, you're going to have to get out of the poverty mindset. And the poverty mindset, the way to get out of it is to be satisfied with the option to be able to buy what you want to buy and not necessarily have to indulge. I'm satisfied with the fact that I can go and buy a Rolls Royce right now if I want to. Am I going to buy a Rolls Royce? No, because when I went to sleep last night and I left the dealership and I got over how I felt about initially seeing it, I came to my senses and said, I don't even really need that. I'm not even going to be home long enough to even drive it 6,000 miles a year for it to be able to make me feel any type of way. I'm not going to buy that just because I can. Like, I'm going to buy and spend money on the things that actually truly add value to my life. And most of the time, what you'll find is that most of those things that add value to your life, it don't even cost money. Got to get out of that poverty mindset. Got to reduce how we see things that don't add value to our life and start to propel the things that'll actually make us rich in spirit and rich physically, financially. That's how you really leverage your money. I gave a lot there, but it's a lot to unpack.
Yo, Anton, the audience over here is going crazy for you right now, man. They
I can't see the comments, so I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah, man, they is going nuts. They saying you preaching the richest man in Babylon talk, rich dad, poor dad. Julius Ivy says he learns something new from you every day. Man, they loving the game, man. They loving the game.
This is $1 million talk, real talk. This is game that people not giving you for free. People charge. I charge my corporate clients $350 to $400 an hour just to consult on my time, bro. Literally, I'm giving people this game for free. And there's so many people that will discount it and say, well, I don't like the fact that Anton wears Versace glasses when he talks to me. Just an example, something stupid, right? I don't like listen, I'm giving you $1 million game every single day. If you are not utilizing this stuff and making it really work for you, I talk about the business of marriage. Do you know that you can get over 1,100 financial benefits that come along with being married versus being single? Do you know that I've leveraged? Now, don't get me wrong. I love my wife, but that does not mean that I'm not going to leverage my marriage to get even richer and more successful as a result of being in it. That's almost like, why would you have a luxury car and not use the heated and cool seats? It's there. Utilize it, understand it, figure out how it works for you. I can contribute an additional $6,000 a year to a Roth IRA for my wife, even though she hasn't worked in the last 13 years, because I feel like she adds more value to me in other ways than she ever could by working a job and bringing in any amount of money. Y'all have to change our mindset. It's so, man, we are so far behind. Y'all got to change the way you see things. Stop being subjected to whatever these cultural norms are. There is success when you look at things from a glass half full perspective instead of looking at what could happen from a glass half empty perspective. It's a whole nother world of success out here, bro. And as soon as you get out of this mindset, it's like a explosion. It's an explosion of growth.
Man, real talk, and I know you got to go soon, man. But I think that's the perfect segue. Briefly, can we touch on picking the right mate? Because I think there is such a negative stigma against marriage, and I'll be the first one to admit that for the last couple years of my life, marriage wasn't even no, because of all the bad examples that I've seen. Now,
Mhm.
recently, my mindset has started to shift, and I'm going to be honest. I'll give you the credit for that, but I think that just comes from a place of not seeing so many successful examples of what marriage could be, and
Yep.
also not seeing the business aspect, because so many years I've seen people marry for love, the love
Mhm.
talk. But when you get into it from a business perspective, now it's starting to make sense, because other cultures, they don't just marry for love. You have
Yep.
arranged marriages in certain
Yep.
situations. So if you can just take a second to talk about how picking the right person matters, and what a man can do, particularly to pick a right mate, and how to find a good female or a good woman that could potentially be a wife.
All right, so this is gonna be good. Y'all ready to buckle up?
Let's go.
All right, so this is gonna be good. Yo, CJ, you need to chop this up into segments because
Oh,
this
I
is
am.
so many.
Oh, I
This is
am.
this is. I'm a cook for you tonight, bro. I'm giving you the alley oop. I'm Chris Pauling you. All you got to do
Hey,
is do the DeAndre Ayton and grab it
hey,
and just throw it
this is
right in the
my
right in the
this is my
hole, bro.
1,000 subscriber show. So I told the people
Yeah.
that I was going to deliver on the 1,000 subscriber show. They are here. They are in the building. So the floor is yours. Sometimes, see, and that's real quick. Y'all don't listen. See, when you got somebody that's been there and done it, you want to challenge. If I see somebody that's trying to get to where I want to, if I see somebody that is where I want to be, I'm gonna sit back and listen. I've seen Anton on different platforms sit back and listen to people give him the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like with Kevin Samuel. So if somebody like that can be taught, nobody is above being taught anything. So go
Kev just
ahead.
DM me. He trying. We gonna kick it. Me and Kev gonna link up. We cooking up too. So here's the thing now. All right, y'all not gonna like this, but I'm gonna tell you the truth because I don't care how you feel. Stop dating.
Uh-oh.
Mm, stop dating. There
Hey,
is
I
a
agree with you
difference
on that one.
between
I agree.
dating and courting. All right. So dating, you're going out with the representative. You're going out with the person, right, that is putting their best foot forward in order to try to impress you. It's no different than being in a space where somebody is trying to keep up with the Joneses, just different context. Stop dating. This is what you need to do in order to be successful when it comes to aligning yourself with the right person, people, and then person. You need to put yourself in the circles of people that is going in the direction that you're going. All right. So what does that mean? What exactly does that mean? If you hanging out in the hood, if you always in the club, if you always on a dating app, what do you think is going to happen? Now, the difference between me and everybody else is that ultimately I married my best friend. So the foundation of our relationship is much larger, is much bigger than love. Now, of course, I absolutely love my wife. Like that comes with it, right? It's almost like money. Money money comes along with being great at whatever it is that you are. So I'm not necessarily chasing money. I'm chasing being the best version of myself. So here's the difference. When you in the company of people that's awesome and you aligning yourself with people that's absolutely phenomenal, and you're not always the smartest or the wisest, or you're not being influenced in the wrong way, and you're intentional. What you'll find yourself doing is aligning yourself with a great network of people. This is how you truly build a network. You don't build a network by going to networking events. You build a network by going out and meeting people and being intentional and presenting yourself every single day as the best version of yourself. Get your hair cut, iron your clothes, brush your teeth, make sure you look great. Go to the places that actually have people in them. Don't work out by yourself. Go to the gym, make conversation, have good conversations with people. When you go to the restaurant, you need to go and sit at the bar, not a booth, by yourself, so that you can have conversations, authentic conversations with people, and then truly get to understand who they are long term by exchanging information and then building strong relationships. You'll find yourself in the room of people that's actually really dope long term. They'll introduce you to people. Go to these games, start to date yourself. because you already broken. And if you looking for a wife or you looking for a chick, all you're really telling me is that I'm depending on somebody else for my happiness. You coming into it halfway. I hate when I see people say, we need to be 50-50. No, we need to be 100-100. We already complete. So everything that I do or everything that you do is just extra. It just adds value to whatever it is that we're building together. So my point then becomes you got to be intentional with, as far as surrounding yourself with really, really great company. I'm telling you, the people that you align yourself with in your circle is going to determine your success. And then ultimately, you'll find some of the most phenomenal people around you that actually is a reflection of who you are. You are what you attract, right? Be awesome, and then you will attract great people, which will lead to phenomenal women around you. Every single woman around me, and I'm talking about all of them, are awesome. They dope, they submissive, they rock with me, they add value, they super dope because my circle is great. So then you'll ultimately, eventually, as you're continuing on your journey, as you continuing on your grind, as you're building a network, as you're becoming the best version of yourself, attract your best friend because you'll get to see them in their authentic state. You'll get to find out how they really see things, what they view about money, how their career is going, how they view relationships, what their foundation is. All of these things will naturally reveal themselves instead of you having to mine through dating people presenting you with information how they want you to consume it. And then you will align yourself with somebody that's actually supposed to be in your life for the rest of your life, which should translate into your wife. You'll marry your best friend. That's how you find the person that you're supposed to be with.
Yeah, that's some game right there. And Anton got to go soon. But before he goes, I have to talk about this one. Now, somebody that I really admire is Kevin Samuels. And recently the video has gone viral again of him saying that men lead with their wallets. Now, I have a lot of people, dudes in particular, on my timeline that hate that narrative. They say that that's tricking. They say that she's just there for the money and all that good stuff. Can you please touch on the leading with your wallet narrative?
Well, women are naturally hypergamous, right? Which means that they want the best option available, which is a woman's nature, which is the right thing for them to be, right? Us, okay, so let's put it like this. This is the best way to do it. The value that we bring to a woman is our ability to provide and protect. Now, the thing that men don't understand is through technology, we've evolved from being Neanderthals and cavemen to having technology. Now, technology has hid all of our flaws because it's allowed us to be able to get behind all of these devices and everything like that and not really be able to showcase who it is that we are on an authentic basis in our everyday lives, right? Back then, you were a man or you were desired based off your ability to be able to produce. Now we kind of can cap a little bit and hide behind that. But the narrative is still the same. Your ability to provide and protect. Now, if you don't have any resources, you can't live in the same neighborhoods as me. You live in a hood, fam. My chick go home and don't lock her. She ain't got to worry about locking her doors. Yo, I'm just being real. My daughter will be able to go to whatever school that she wants to. That's your ability to be able to. It's still transactional. We flying in and out everywhere we going. We just ate. I had the best asparagus. I'm just telling you, like, life is better on this side. And so what you're doing is using your inability to provide and protect as an excuse for you not being the man that you're supposed to be. Realistically, this is the best part. Let's just say hypothetically, right? Let's frame this phenomenal woman because every dude want a bad chick. We want her to be submissive. We want her to not be for the streets. We want her to be a good girl. We want her to add value to our life and really buy into what we build. And we hear that all the time, right? We want her to, be loyal, all of this stuff. Now, let's say you got her. You got her. She checked every single box. She dope, she beautiful, she got the right mind, she adds value, she pours in, she buys in, the whole 9 yards. Let's say that you get her. What you gonna do with her?
Mm.
You can't do nothing with her. You can't take care of her. You can't nurture her. You can't add value. You can't even protect her. So there's a difference between holding women accountable, because nobody is saying that you need to rock with a chick that's for the streets. Nobody is saying that you need to go and wife up a chick that got, 3 kids by 3 baby daddies and then be a captain save them.
No,
That's
sir.
not that conversation. What we're saying is that the thing that you're asking for, if you got it, you'd ruin it. And you'd make her just another statistic because of your inability to be the man that you're supposed to be. And you need to be able to bring in resources, provide, protect, and then continue to be able to do that for an extended period of time so that you can add value just in the same way that you're expecting for somebody to submit and add value to your life as far as buying into your vision for what this kingdom is supposed to be. Stop ruining these chicks by expecting things that you can't nurture and take care of. You're not built like that, bro. You a little boy that's walking in trying to walk in grown men's shoes. That's reserved for G's like me, not you.
Mm. Well, you heard that, man. Everybody, I wish I had some upgraded tech. I would do the little clapping sound effect, but that's all I got for right now. This all I got for
Hey,
right now.
listen, I rock with you, fam. Again, just the same as when I first came on the platform. I salute you. I rock with you. I appreciate you for continuing to do what you do and add value. And let's just be clear. I think that you're in this channel. I ain't even talking about your regular life and what you do at work. I think that what you do in here and the businesses that you're building, and the foundation that you're laying for all of the things that you're going to be is going to be much bigger and much greater than even me. Real talk. And I'm not just saying it on no BS. I don't tell people what they want to hear, but I do. I think that you building a great platform. You're doing great things here, and I rock with you, bro. I rock with you on the ground level, the foundation, so that you just understand that I'm authentically here to see you thrive and be successful, and nothing else.
Hey,
Nothing
man,
else, bro.
I greatly appreciate that. And when Anton say that he up until 4 in the morning, y'all, I mean that. I've
Yeah.
called Anton at work at 4 in the morning just to
Yep.
see if it was real. You know what I'm saying? We chopped up some game, and that was that. But all I'm saying is that you have to find mentors. I think that is a big thing that a lot of us, especially as men, don't tend to do. We have to find people that are doing better than us. If we're not around individuals that are doing better than us, then it tends to flatline. Your growth but tends to stunt. And I think that's
Yeah,
the
that's true.
problem. I have to be in the room with people that are doing better than me. I don't want to be the richest person in the room. If I'm the richest person in the room all the time, then that's an issue. My circle needs to change because, again, I want to get to that top 1%. That's the ultimate
Yep.
goal with all of this. I want to get rich. Nursing is going to make me rich. The things that I take from this is going
Yep.
to make me rich, and I want to be around people with that same mindset. If you're not trying to do that, I can love you from a distance, and I had to learn that
Mhm.
personally within myself. So I only want to be in a room with people that want to be successful and that want to be rich, and I want to be around those individuals that are doing better than me for the motivation. I love when the Louis frames come out. I love when the tours come, when he do the tours of the crib, the house, when he show the cars, all that. That's motivation for me. I need that. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
you always the best in the room, then what is you doing? You need to upgrade. Listen, it's never
What
enough
I got
money,
coming is gonna be crazy. They're gonna see
man.
the petite Philippe's. They're gonna see the new Rolexes, the presidentials. They're gonna see the new Porsche Taycans. I'm gonna continue to hit y'all with it. I'm gonna show y'all everything. My whole life is an open book. But let me just say this last thing,
Okay.
Gentlemen. I need y'all to keep y'all commitments and be on time. I need you to do that. If you say you're gonna show up somewhere, or you're gonna do something, be there 5, 10, 15 minutes early. Take care of your business, be on time, be intentional with what it is that you're doing. Even see CJ knows. CJ, I told him, I said, yo, I'm coming on. He said, what time? I said, he said 8:30. I said, bet. I'm cammed up. I get back to my hotel to make sure I'm cammed up, and then I'm on a platform. before 8 o'clock so that I'm ready. I don't believe in excuses. We need to be men of our word. We need to be over deliverers. Take care of your business, take care of your commitments, be men of principle, be men of standard, and then actually over deliver on the things that you promise and you say you're gonna do. Let's take care of business, man.
Anton, where can the people find you?
AntonDaniels.com. All of my information is there. Um, you can email me, you can holler at me. Both of my channels is on there. I'm not hard to find. You can get at me, and I'm a man of the people. So, you know, I've been out in Tampa. I'll be out in every city: Tampa, Oregon, Vegas, Miami, all of these cities, Ohio, Cleveland. I'm Chicago. I'm out in the streets, participating, kicking it with people, and just pouring into people on a regular basis. So AntonDaniels.com, that's my website, and then everything branches off from there, depending on the way in which you want to interact with me. Some people rock with Instagram, some people rock with Facebook. I'm everywhere. I'm on all platforms.
Hey man, I got a lot of love for you, man. I appreciate you taking the time out to come on the
I
platform. And
rock with you more.
man, you can always come on anytime you want, man. Just let me know, bro. Just let me know.
Yeah. Keep doing your thing, fam.
All right, bro. Well, I'll holler at you, man.
Yep, I got you. I see
All
you,
right.
bro.
Peace. Yeah. Anton Daniels, everybody. Hey man. Hey, let me see. Trav, what you think of that, man? How you feel about that conversation?
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt him, but I took a lot of work away from he does financial counseling or what does he do?
Um, some of that too. Yeah. Hey, man, just go to his website. If you want to reach out to him for mentorship and everything like that. I do a mentorship through him as well, and I'll give you the details. Yeah, man, dude is dope. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope y'all all enjoyed today's broadcast. It was a great show. I appreciate the time that was taken out. Everybody who has watched and subscribed and all that good stuff, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And we building something over here, man. And we just gonna continue to rock it out, bro. Like it's just this is what black excellence looks like. When you take um black men, or when you take black females, and when you continue to rock with black females and men and women, and you just put them in the same circle and you start to teach. It's not about going to save everybody, because people that want to get the game, they're going to get the game. You dig what I'm saying? I can't go out and be a superhero to everybody. I can of what I want to see, and that's it. Like I'm not Superman. I don't save them, because some people simply don't want to be saved. So Trav, anything you want to add to this before we rock out?
Yeah. I just got a book recommendation for a little bit of what he was talking about. I got it right here.
What's
Uh,
that?
The Way of the Superior Man is a really, really good book for male and female. It touches on a lot of spiritual growth. Show you how to balance work, sexual desire, and just a lot for your spirit. So highly
That's what's up.
recommend that. 5 stars. Go pick that up.
That's what's up, man. And I chopped it up with you behind the scenes about doing a panel on a weekly basis. So like I said, man, whenever you want to come on, you can. And speaking of books, this is one of the best books that I ever read, The Richest Man in Babylon, bro. Like, and I actually wanted to take the time to actually buy the physical copy of the book and go through it. And there's nothing wrong with audiobooks, because like, when you on the go, you can listen to it. I'm in a car, I do my traveling, so I did buy the audio version as well. But I read this book, man, and I got a lot of game from this book. I'm learning a lot all the time, and you have to continue to seek knowledge. A lot of people don't want to seek knowledge, and a lot of people are just lazy. And that's just really what it is, bro. So I'm gonna let you get up out of here, man. I know you probably got things to do, and I'm gonna just talk a little bit more, and then I'm gonna get up out of here myself.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on, man. I'll talk to you.
All right, bro.
All right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a fire show. I think I did the most numbers I've ever done. So I greatly appreciate Anton for coming on to the platform. It's a grind, bro. And I saw all of y'all comments and I really wanted to read them out loud, but I didn't want to interrupt the ism. You dig? I did not want to interrupt the ism, but I tried to make sure that I recognized all of y'all. And I really love y'all, man, for rocking with me. We are going to continue to grow and we're going to do it together. I'm working on some other guests to come on who is about the ism. I'm reaching out and it's just a work in progress, man. I've seen some people in the comments that I really want to get on the show. Shout out to Rochelle. She's a nurse. She got her own business popping and I appreciate her for tuning in. I would love to get you on the show to talk about that. It's a lot of people that I want to work with, man. I'm all about working together and building together. Listen, because the people that want to get rich, they're gonna get rich. And I just want to be able to add value to somebody else's life. So, like I said, man, hit me up. I'm not hard to find. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. And we gonna do the dang thing, man. But let's see. He said, let's keep grinding. Hey, shout out to Brandon Morris, man. I appreciate you rocking, tuning in. Shout out to Stanley, man. I appreciate the work. Let me acknowledge y'all real quick because I really did want to get to y'all comments, but I really did not want to interrupt the ism. Shout out to Jocelyn, Nurse Jocelyn. Shout out to Zach. Shout out to my lady, Dee Dee. Shout out to, let's see, Julius. I appreciate y'all for rocking. Just shout out to everybody. Shout out to Mel. Shout out to Najir. Shout out to everybody who was just rocking. Shout out to Tiffany. Shout out to everybody who was tuning in to the show today, man. And I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Next week, we're going to do a giveaway on the show. So we're going to do the show every Friday, right? The First Heartbeat with CJ Kyle's podcast is every Friday at 8:30, okay? And also, we are looking to start another show. If you are someone who wants to be on a panel, if you feel like you can debate and have respectful conversations, hit me up. I am looking to start a show within the next 2 weeks where I take 3 to 4 individuals and we simply rock and have the conversation. If you would like to be a part of it, I will put my email in the description. I also will I'll say it right now. Email me at cjkyles90@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on IG at the CJ Kyles. This platform is going to continue to grow. And if you want to be a part of the debate panel, let's get to it. We're looking to start it in about 2 weeks. So let me know. Hit me up. Send me an email. That's again at cjkyles90@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on IG at the CJ Kyles. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, I bid you adieu. Peace.